guys, welcome again. It's the GH Prep Scholar. This is the most requested video I was asked to do. It's the most tricky aspect of the application process, which is the financial aid process. But with this time, the one thing I did not notice though was a lot of you guys had a situation where it was almost impossible to access your tax returns for your parents. So there were multiple scenarios in which either your parents had their own business somewhere, they did not have tax returns, they did not file tax returns, either they were unemployed or they were doing their own job, their own side gig and hustle. So basically, it's a common thing in Ghana, even outside Ghana, like Nigeria and other places, where I know for most people that have tax returns are mostly like business entities or those working in the government sector. I definitely talked with a lot of people. I talked with high-end people, and basically I came up with a way to go about that process. I did not know how to do it for different scenarios because there were also kids that, unfortunately, either they had one or both parents deceased, or they were gonna, like their uncle or someone was gonna fund their education for them. So, but the thing was, I could not make video or content to describe all these cases. So what I did was I decided to fill the CSS profile one more time, but in a very special scenario. A scenario where for one of the parents was deceased and one of the parents does not file tax returns, does not have tax returns, does not have bank accounts, all of that. They just, let's say, as a farmer and they work at a farm. And I think with this scenario should work for a lot of students, or you should be able to apply this scenario for all other cases. So what I did was, if you want to watch how to fill out the CSS profile online, I have a video on it, which is going to be linked, but I have a video on it, just watch the whole process. But this time I actually went ahead to fill it and make this video a bit shorter. I downloaded my profile with this new scenario, and I'm going to walk you guys through everything that I did. This is the profile. So once again, obviously, when you're filling the CSS profile, you fill in your name, middle name, last name, you fill in all your details, everything. Don't fall for this. This is not my birthday. I can guarantee you that people that know me know this is not my birthday. So I just put in a date there, but obviously putting your birthday there. You're not married. Basically, this is information that we've already filled before. It starts to get interesting when we get here. So the student has legal dependents? No, you don't have. You're probably not married. You probably don't have kids for an undergrad. If you do, sure, go ahead. And then you put in your address, all that, and then your mailing address in case it's different from your home address. But normally it really doesn't matter that much. These are not really the important parts. So pretty much, again, here you put in your address. Now this is where it gets interesting. So I put parent one, which is the mom. You can do it as the dad, whatever it is. But in this case, if you have a legal guardian or whatever, if you have someone else who is going to pay your fees, or let's say your uncle somewhere or something, if your uncle is not by law your legal guardian, it's okay. Don't put him there, or your auntie or whoever is going to pay for it. There will be another section where you can put in places of people who are going to be funding your school fees for you, or funding your fees for you, or who are going to help pay for your fees for you, not everything. We'll get to that. But for now, we just go ahead with these ones. I did it in such a way where the mother is alive and then the father is deceased. So in this case, so we can see, you put in your mom's first name, last name, or your dad's first and last name, relationship, and whether deceased or not. So this applies to, if both are deceased, you can put it there, and your application will probably be shorter. I had to make sure it applies to a lot of scenarios, So, but if both parents are deceased, you probably most likely might have a legal guardian, someone who's legally by law your guardian. But if you don't have a legal guardian, you can put no legal guardian there or whatever. And in your case, you just have to maybe talk more and describe the scenario more. So what's going on here? Where your parents live, you put it there. Your academic year right now, if you're taking a gap year, so in this case, the student is taking a gap year. The person is done with high school, has applied to schools, and is waiting for decisions. So probably not in school yet. And let's say again, the person is applying to Cornell, early decision, Ghanaian city. Now you put your parents' details there, put their dates there. If a parent doesn't know their birthday, they can estimate it. It's really not like the end of the world. I know some of you that was in a scenario where one student said the parent didn't know their birth dates, which is quite interesting. I mean, they checked their birth certificates or their passports or like there should be a way where they should know it, but regardless of the scenario, that's totally fine as well. Maybe your parent never went to university, put it there, put middle school or junior high school there. I try to make this as to cater for this niche kind of people as well, but I'm sure people watching this, you can apply the scenario. So in this case, Victoria, that's my mom, and this is not my actual mom, don't worry. This doesn't apply to her. I just wanted to make a scenario that caters for you guys. For my case, both parents were working, so they had tax returns and everything. She's a farmer, so she does farming. Self-employed, you can take self-employed. So this is for those that said they're self-employed, their parents don't have tax returns. Put the number of years your parents, this is where you talk with your parents to find out, or you can estimate always. And for your parents' email address don't put the same within there. Put your parents' email address. If he or she doesn't have an email address, create an email address for them, and then you and them can track it. You get it. So that makes sense. Now, participate in any of the retirement plans, you guys probably don't have it. So other tax referred retirement, everything, you can just ignore all of that and put 0 there. And then for tax return status, for all of you that said you don't have tax returns, you can just say not filed and not required to file a tax return. This is the option you select. This is very, very important. This is for you guys the most important part. So you can indicate that. Now, the issue, before I even go ahead, the issue is that for you guys that are in such a scenario, what is going to happen is, if you are not required to file a tax return, for most schools, it will be fine. But for a couple of schools, even though you are not required to file a tax return, they might later reach out and say, okay, if they're not required to file a tax return, can you provide something, anything that for them to get an idea of how much money your parents make? You get it? Because now you're saying you're not required to file the tax return and everything, but how do they believe that, for instance, your parents make 6,200 Ghana cedis a year instead of, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis a year? Do you get it? So for some way, they need to be able to judge that the number you are putting here is accurate. So this is where some schools wouldn't mind, but some too might ask you, okay, if they have their own shop and you, let's say, show their sales records or something like that. For some schools, but some schools will let it slide and just believe you. If they really like you, that's why I said, if they like your application and they like you and they think you're a strong student, they really wouldn't mind all these things. But yeah, so that is that. So yeah, not required to file a tax return. So a parent's income from work, some of you don't really, but let's say, talk to your parents, let them estimate how much do they think in a year they made, how much do you make on average per month, and then they will tell you that you just times 12 it, and then you just know an idea of it, and then you put it there, and then you say, because they are not doing tax returns and those things, most likely no taxes, no retirement benefits, nothing, self-employed, that means that they're not going to get any pension benefits. So 0, you put that one there as well. Did they receive income from other members? Did your parents did they receive any allowances? Did they receive any other thing? 0. I put all of them 0. And then that was this year. But then let's see, how much do you estimate your parents will make from work? So maybe my mom made 6,200 this year, and I've reported it, but I think next year she might make more. You get it? Okay, so I'm estimating, okay, she'll make 6,800, and then maybe for the next 2 years she might make 7,200. It's just estimates. So these ones are good. But then because my dad, I put deceased there, they will not ask for any information from my dad. You get it? Or your parents are expected to pay child support. That's normally when the parents are divorced or in a scenario like that. If that's not the case, put no there to avoid further complications. And then housing information, you can put your housing details, their address, all of that, and put it there. If it's rent, put rent, how much they pay on rent per month. If it's not, if they own their own home, they might ask you for the value of the house, how much the house worth. But yeah, if it's rent, put rent there. And then assets, do they own any investments? Do they own any assets? I put no there. No. How much do they have in savings? I know most of you also said, oh, my parents, there were a few of you that said my parents do not have bank accounts. It's fine. If your parents don't have bank accounts, it's fine. If they just have it in cash, that's basically, they have it, because the truth is, your parents either have it in a bank account, they have it in mobile money, or they have it in cash. Somehow, one of these three. There's no way, there is 0 money in your pockets. Come on. So you need to solve just any of them, either whatever they have in their mobile money accounts, in their bank accounts, or in their pocket. So I put all this. I didn't check all of this, but then I said my mom was a farmer, so owns a farm. If they own a business, that means if your parent has their own shop somewhere or something, then they own a business. You check this box. But then if they don't, let's say farm, I said they own a farm, and then she owns 2 farms. If they own a business, you have to describe the business. The farm to have to describe the farm. You get it? So maybe, but most Ghana farms don't have names, so I just put no name, but I put the address of the farm, and then I said the farm is to give my mom. That's what gives my mom money, income, and then basically they put the number of acres, the current value. So your mom should estimate it. Like in the AKA, what this basically means, current value means that if she was to sell, or this farm was to get sold today, the portion of the farm she owns, if she was to sell it today, how much does he think she will sell for? And your parents always know. Come on, they will always know. Because if someone was to walk to the farm right now and said, okay, I'm buying this farm for this amount of money, your mom will either say yes or no based on how much she thinks she should sell for. So it's just estimate. Give them more idea about the any special circumstance. So maybe, as I said, my dad was dead, quote. So when they died, maybe it was given to my mom, I don't know, by the family, whatever happened. You get it? And then maybe the other farm, because I said my mom owns 2 farms, this other farm is here. Whatever. And this one is basically also a primary source of food. Basically, this gives my mom food. Like this is what maybe we used to get food for the family. You get it? And the medical expenses, all those things, yes. And then this is where you put in all the other parts of bills that like living expenses. This part we've already gone through it before in the other CSS profile video. So this is not the main purpose of this video. This main purpose of this video to actually help with scenarios where they don't have tax return status to, you are probably not required to file. If you work and you think you want to, like, I know there was one student that reached out to me telling me that she works herself and she wanted to use part of her work money to pay and fund for her fees. That's cool. If you actually do have it, you can put information there and then if you don't have tax returns still for your work, but you work at a game center and you make money from it, but you don't do any tax returns or anything, then you show the income you earn from work, put the insidious, all those things, and and so earnings for the summer, and this one is expected income and earnings in the future. That's if you were to enter the US for school, and once you're in the US and you're in your university, how much do you think you earn? Those that you people said your uncle or someone else who will help pay for it or give you some amount to help you, this is where you put in the information. So for instance, let's say your students, the parents could be able to contribute this amount every year for your university. 1,000 cedis. Let's say your uncle will be able to give you 3,000, or your uncle and your grandfather somewhere can give you 10,000. Put it all day total, and maybe you have some government scholarship program or something. This is where you put it from other sources other than this. You can put it there, and then the rest can put 0. If you receive anything from the government, you can say yes, and then you put the amount there. From any foundation, if you're part of any foundation that can help you go to your college, you can put it there. But if no, it's fine. And then assets, if you have any of these things, you can put it there. But no, probably most of you know. And then yes, and this is special. I also put this one because some people were talking about special circumstances. So maybe if you have a circumstance which impacted your family or whatever, you can say it's also there. So this one, I put it there as, let's say, a catastrophic event. If there was COVID, if there was whatever, then you can put it there. So an explanation, if you want to put it there, I put in a very like an example that it does not have to be the same example as yours, but basically I put it there like, oh hey, I did not enjoy the bliss of calling our dad when I was an infant since he passed on. My dad died when he was a child, in quotes. And when I was barely 5 months old, my mom was left alone to raise a total of 5 males and a female. That's 6 children in the house. Our extended family members who happen to live in a different region to some extent neglected us after the tragedy. We depend on our farm produce for survival. We consume some of these produce and sell the rest on market days to raise whatever money she could in order to cater for our education. When I was entering senior high school, mom was advanced in her age. I mean, she was very old and there was little she could do to cater for all my educational needs. 2 of my older siblings once again had to step in with their help. I obtained a Cocoa Marketing Board scholarship, and the scholarship catered for my senior high school education. The strive didn't end after receiving the scholarship. My 2 older siblings got married and they had to build for a family and cater for their family. The rest of my siblings dropped significantly, basically, and I was deprived of business, still food, where sometimes I lack. Recently, there was an inferno, basically, let's say your house caught on fire or the farm caught on fire, something. If there was something that like they need to know, the colleges need to know to help you more and bend everything, So as a result, we're going through a series of financial crises to maybe help renovate the home, get into a new home, whatever, and setbacks. And all of those things. So basically, you describe it. But this does not apply to everybody. If you have a special scenario that is really, really impacting your family and everything, let the school know, and this is the read it. So, do you expect to receive scholarships or no? And then basically, it will be the same thing, and then you go through the same process of basically submitting it to schools. Some of you requested if you guys wanted waivers or how to request for a waiver. I have some templates that I used, and they worked perfectly for me. Also, if you want the templates for those waivers, I will post a link to how to retrieve those templates. For this one, I just said, oh, hello, sir, madam. I'm from Poche, an international applicant for the fall 2018 academic year at your institution. And I would kindly request, and you send it to the financial aid office or the admissions office of that university. So, and I would like to request if I could receive a code, waive my CSS financial aid profile, or any other alternative through this email address. This could aid me in my application process due to financial constraints. I hope to affirmatively hear from you, Philip Boche, international students. So this was the first email when you request for it. So once you request, 3 things will happen. Either they give it to you straight away, either they tell you that you need to email a certain body, either they tell you to fill the SFA instead, or either they give you another form and be like, you know what, fill this form or something like that, and we'll give it to you, or like we'll determine or we'll reach out back to you whether we want to give it to you or not. In this case, you can see in the code in this one here, you can see this was the first one by Pomona when I asked for it, and then they gave me a code. So thank you for contacting the financial aid office. We've granted you a free waiver code for the CSS profile due to the financial hardship you may cause in your family, and then they'll give it to you. So basically now when you're going to the payment section, you select Pomona College, and then when you're selecting Pomona College, CSS profile asks you, do you want to pay by card or like you have a waiver code or a code? Then you say select code, you put in the code there, and it will waive the fee for you. So that's the first option. The second option is a scenario where, like for instance, Haverford, when I send this email to them, and there's one thing, when you're sending the email to them, if you want to send, let's say you've applied to 10 schools, don't just do one single email and then put all these schools' email addresses, admissions email addresses there. If you do it that way, all of them will see it, that you are applying to all these schools and you're just asking for all these schools. It's not nice. Do it individually. Do one email at a time. Put the same, you can copy paste the same message there, put it there, send, do the next email, do it there. So it's nicer that way. It will be weird if you have all 10, 15 schools there and all of them you're asking that some way. So the second one is like Haverford like this, like, oh, they don't have a waiver code for CSS profile. You will need to complete the form on College Board. The College Board will tell you if you're eligible for a waiver. For international students, normally it doesn't work. If you're an international applicant living outside the US and you cannot afford the fee to complete the CSS profile, please use the International Student Financial Aid application form located here. You just have to even Google it. If you Google this form, and you put it there, you can easily download it and fill it. And then once you fill it, you either email it to the same admissions team or on your portal where they are tracking your documents. Most of them will give you a chance for you to upload it there. So you ask them, how do you upload it? You filled it. These are the scenarios that could happen. So hey guys, this is it. See, it's very easy. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, what other videos you guys want me to do. If you guys want to look at, let's say, sample, how to fill out sample activities, sample, honors, sample, all those other things, let me know. And we can go through it, like what can make, even if you guys want to see sample essays, let me know. I'll share a link with you guys on how to look at some sample essays, some rules of what to do, what not to do, and anything guys, just let me know in the comment section. Reach out at ghprepscholar@gmail.com. It's right here, link right here, the email right here. Reach out and I'll catch you guys.